Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the series Mud Talks, Serving Unseen Leaders, where little becomes much with Dr. Jenny Switkes, class of 94, and Dr. Cheryl Love. My name is Vanessa Chu, Associate Director in the Office of Alumni and Parent Relations. We thank you for attending today's event. This talk is being recorded and will be distributed after the event. Please feel free to type your questions in the Q&A box, and we will try to get through as many questions as possible. Now, I'm going to turn it over to our speakers, Jenny and Cheryl. Thanks for being here today. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. We're so glad to be here tonight. And just to introduce ourselves again, I'm Jenny Switkes. I did graduate from Harvey Mudd College in '94, and it's such a joy to be with you tonight and to get to share some about the nonprofit that Dr. Cheryl Love and I started, Enhearten Unseen Leaders. So thank you for being here.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Harvey Mudd College, for inviting us to talk about Enhearten Unseen Leaders. We are so excited to share with you all the wonderful things that we are doing through this amazing nonprofit.
So I'll share our slides and we'll get started sharing with you about this work that is such a joy in both of our lives. We really have a theme that speaks to our hearts about things we'll be sharing about tonight. This theme of where little becomes much. We're at a small nonprofit serving leaders who might be overlooked, unseen leaders, and we're seeing little become much. So we want to start by sharing some of each of our stories because, like in my mind, thinking about unseen leaders who have a passion for lifting up communities, it's all about people. And so I'll share just a little bit about myself, and then Dr. Cheryl Love will also share some about herself because our stories flow into why we started this nonprofit. So at Harvey Mudd College, I majored in math and physics. I lived in South Dorm, then East, then South, then Atwood. After I graduated, I entered a program called Teach for Pomona. I was 21 years old, trying to be a classroom teacher with very little training and did not work. I loved the students, but just was really unprepared. I went back to school for graduate school, taught at Citrus Community College for a little while pursuing a PhD at Claremont Graduate University. Along the way, I also became a volunteer pastor. And also along the way in 2001, I began my work at Cal Poly Pomona, where I've been teaching ever since and just loving mentoring the students here. Meanwhile, at Cal Poly Pomona, Dr. Cheryl Love and I ended up meeting and becoming rideshare partners for a while and sharing in all kinds of other things, including picking lemons from her amazing lemon tree to donate to a food distribution that we volunteered at to help people in need. So I want to, Cheryl, could you tell a little bit of your story?
So my career started out with earning a bachelor's degree and a multiple subject teaching credential from Cal State Fullerton, and working for a brief time as an elementary teacher, and then going back to Cal State Fullerton to get my master's in counseling and worked as a school counselor for a number of years. And during the early stages of my work as a school counselor, really decided that the kinds of issues that I was dealing with students, with parents, with, families and communities, that more training would be helpful. So I went back to school, got my PhD in counseling psychology from UCLA, and started to do work not only in K-12, but also in higher ed, where I've been able to not only counsel students, but also teach from time to time, most recently adjunct faculty at Cal Poly Pomona in the educational leadership program, their EDD program there. And yes, my first go around at Cal Poly Pomona, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Dr. Switkes and ride sharing and volunteering at a local food bank to be able to help those in need. And so one of the things that I think that we have in common is the heart for being servant leaders, to really be able to give back and to help others. And so I think that is part of how this idea that Dr. Switkes came up with, that is now this amazing Enhearten Unseen Leaders organization, it came out of, I think, her love and mine as well, in being able to help others be their best selves. And in fact, the work I do now at the University of California, Riverside, in the Career Center there, is to really help students and alumni really figure out that path, their passion, something that's going to bring them joy in terms of a career. And I get to do that on a regular basis, and I love it. And also had the opportunity to do that when I worked at Cal Poly Pomona with Dr. Switkes, because I worked in the Career Center there as well. And so we've had some really joyous times as we have thought through things that we could do beyond our day-to-day roles, to be able to be of service to others and to help others. And I really know that's that seed that was planted for what is now Enhearten Unseen Leaders. And Dr. Switkes hears me saying this all the time. It started out as a little seed, and now it has grown into a full-blown tree with beautiful blossoms on it. But anyway, a little bit about me as well.
And I think, as we share our stories and how we got to see this seed grow and blossom, all of you joining us for this webinar, you have things that you're passionate about, that you care deeply about, and I hope that our story and our organization can be an encouragement to you as well, as you think about how you might be able to, make the world a little bit of a better place in the ways that you care deeply about. So in addition to the two of us, we have an amazing board. We're all volunteers. We don't have any paid employees, and we're a working board. So we're still a very small nonprofit, and the board does the work of the organization. We also have had 3 college interns. Many universities have an academic internship program where an organization or a business can have a college intern who is taking an internship course at the university and earning academic credit, and then gaining work experience through serving as a volunteer college intern. So we've had 3 interns so far at Enhearten Unseen Leaders, and they've been just such a beautiful, amazing part of what Enhearten has had the joy to do, and you'll get to see some of their work tonight in what we'll be sharing.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we have been able to come up with really creative ways to get people to be aware of our little nonprofit, where little becomes much. And the college interns really have played an integral part in that, with their amazing social media acumen, and really the way that they have come up with marketing ideas as well to help get the word out about the work that we are doing in Enhearten. So it's definitely been a blessing.
Yeah, it really has been.
Yes.
And, in all the different ideas we share, please feel free to take them and use them. So we want to share some about the 3 branches of Enhearten Unseen Leaders. We'll share about Enhearten Giving, which we view as like the flagship program of Enhearten Unseen Leaders. And then we'll also share about Enhearten Coaching and Enhearten Healing. Dr. Love, do you want to get us started?
Well, I will say that in terms of the flagship, as you've called it, giving, one of the things that has just been a, a very heartwarming and uplifting and rewarding part of the work we have done with Enhearten is the fact that we have helped folks not only in the US, but globally who wanted to make a difference within their communities, and they just needed a helping hand, as it were, in terms of resources to get their idea, their project off the ground. And so within Heart and Giving, we have micro grants that these are little small grants from $500 to $1,000 that people can apply to receive. And we do this micro grant cycle twice a year. And organizations can, even after they've received a grant, can apply again as they have an additional idea or an expansion for a project that they're already doing. And so it's just been wonderful. And I know we do have some short video clips to hear from some of our Enhearten Unseen Leaders talking about the micro grant or grants they've received from us and how it's made a difference in the work that they do. And so this is to me the heart of Enhearten, to be able to give folks who maybe have tried to get support or resources from other places and spaces and have not had much luck. They, have reached out through our application process and been able to get that little bit of nudge, as it were, to help them on their way. And so we have had some amazing opportunities, not only in the US, but globally, to help folks who are trying to make a difference in their community. And that's just amazing work.
Yeah, yeah. Oftentimes, our microgrant applicants have been self-funding their nonprofit, and we might be their very first grant that they receive. And this, micro grant of $500 to $1,000 truly does enable amazing leaders to do amazing things. We have unseen leaders in our organization's name, and we think of that as leaders who might be overlooked or might be undervalued. That's honestly something that I know both of us have experienced in our own lives. And so we have a heart and eyes to see amazing leaders who may not have been recognized or given various opportunities, and we want to just to see the beauty of what amazing leaders have in their hearts to do to uplift communities, and we want to be an encouragement and be a resource to leaders and their nonprofits. So the microgrant program is a true joy. We also have a coaching program. We have a curriculum we use that was written by a friend of mine and then revised over time for use by Enhearten Unseen Leaders. The Enhearten coaching program consists of about 10 one-on-one sessions conducted on Zoom. We have 3 of us who have done some training in coaching for the purpose of being coaches for Enhearten. And we provide the coaching for free. We just want it to be a gift to unseen leaders who would benefit from it. And the coaching is focused on helping the leader first reflect back on their life. They do an extended life timeline experience because, the things we've experienced in our lives, even the painful, difficult things, all of it becomes what we are then able to offer to people. I've seen that to be true so much in my life. Like the founding of Enhearten Unseen Leaders is directly because of painful things that I experienced that made me really want to help other people not have to go through what I went through, but be able to be encouraged and resourced. So we do this timeline activity in Enhearten coaching. We look at core values, and depending on the person's season in life, sometimes the person being coached is getting ready to make a career change or to start a nonprofit, like to really start something new. And so in that case, we can focus on like mission and vision for that next step in their life. Sometimes people just want to learn more about themselves and what they're passionate about, and then be able to maybe try some new things in their lives. And so there too, looking at like mission and vision for your own life or some aspect of your life and like what you want to really put your time into can just be a really life transforming thing. So we have a curriculum. Some of the details are on our website of all the different modules that we have available. We make StrengthsFinder available. I love how StrengthsFinder really highlights like some of the strengths and gifting that people have. And so it's our joy to like journey with a person for, 10 or more weeks, meeting once a week and just watching what they learn about themselves and like helping them to discover what it is that they're passionate about and that they want to put their time into.
And I think
Yeah,
I was
Dr.
going
Love.
to add that the beauty of it is that we are offering this resource for free. Because oftentimes there's resources out there like this, but there's a fee for it. And again, another thing I like about our small but mighty nonprofit is we're trying to help and support and encourage folks, and we're doing it volunteering our time and talent, and we're doing it for free, and because we really want to not have as a barrier um, people having limited resources and not being able to access this kind of support and guidance and encouragement. And so I think that's another wonderful aspect of the coaching. And some of the folks who have been able to go through the process have really grown, and has helped them to get to that next level, whatever that next level may be for them. But it's also helped the coaches to grow and continue to learn things about themselves to help them as they continue to do servant leader work. So wanted to add that.
Yeah. Each of our coaches went through Enhearten coaching, or in my case, I went through a similar coaching experience before Enhearten had been started. So we've each been impacted by this experience, and it's our joy to get to um, be a part of someone's life in this really meaningful way. Most recently, I had the joy of coaching a nonprofit leader in the country of Malawi in Africa, coaching over Zoom. And it was a profound experience. And he wanted to go through the coaching for himself, but also he wants to then take some of these activities and maybe even the whole coaching program and then use it in his own setting where he could then coach maybe younger leaders that he's mentoring. So it's a real joy to get to know somebody in this coaching relationship and just get to see the discoveries that they make and what that can mean for their lives. Uh, Dr. Love, could you say a little about Enhearten Healing?
So the healing branch of Enhearten really has come from the place of many of us on the Enhearten board have experienced different challenges issues within organizations we've been involved with, be it church, be it our workplace, and so on. And so we felt it was critically important to provide resources for folks looking at our organization for support to work through whatever trauma or conflict issues they needed to work through, and to have help and support to pay for counseling, for example. And so we do have a process through our Enhearten Healing where someone can apply to get some support to pay for counseling through some of the counselors, therapists that we have as resources, and we can offset some of the cost of going to a counselor or therapist to get support to work through issues. So that's how Enhearten Healing started. And then one of our amazing board members, she is a licensed therapist, and she created, and you can go on to our Enhearten website to see some of her videos. She created some Enhearten Healing videos to help people with a wide array of issues, and to also kind of normalize, because oftentimes when people are going through mental health issues, our society has not always put getting help for mental health issues as a normal thing to do if you're struggling. And so part of what we're trying to do with Enhearten Healing is to be part of the movement to normalize it's okay and it's important to get help with mental health issues as you need it. And so one of our board members has created some amazing videos. We also have a list of resources, books, and videos and other things that people can tap into to help them with the healing process. And then this year, we decided to take it to another level. And we now have a process where a person can apply for a stipend to help with the cost of going to a conference or a workshop or a webinar where there's a fee to it, but it's about work-life balance, health and wellness, mental health support, and they can apply to Enhearten Healing and receive some support with the cost of attending an event that can help with wellness. And so that's something that we have started this year. And that's another thing that I'm really proud about our small but mighty nonprofit. We are always looking for ways to continue to grow as an organization, to scale up, as we like to say, to be able to help more of our unseen leaders and to really grow the branches of Enhearten and the work that we do within these branches. So.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I've experienced in my own life how being in a abusive situation, like abusive workplace or that sort of thing, it can almost make you like forget that sense of calling that you had or like lose sight of the things you really care about because everything just gets so confusing. And so I don't want like amazing unseen leaders to go through that like without help, like when that does happen. And so we really want to be a help so that unseen leaders can know that they are actually seen and cared about and valued and they can heal and do the amazing things that they feel called to do. So at this point, we want to begin showing a few videos because, again, it's really the people that Enhearten Unseen Leaders is all about. And so the first video we'll show is the longest of the videos we'll be showing. It's 4 or 5 minutes long. And you'll see our most recent college intern, Elliot Yu, um, hosting this interview with one of our microgrant recipients, Sabrina Gonzalez. Sabrina is the executive director of the Civil Rights Institute of Inland Southern California. It's an amazing organization, and you'll get to hear her sharing some about her organization as well as how she used the microgrant and what that meant for her organization. So I'll go ahead and play this. And Dr. Love, is there anything else you want to say by way of introduction of Sabrina?
She's doing amazing work here in Southern California, and she's a good example of the microgrant recipients that we have been blessed with providing some support in the amazing work that they do.
Yes, absolutely. So I'll go ahead and start the video and enjoy it. And here it is. Here's Elliot and Sabrina.
Hi, I'm Elliot, and welcome back to Enhearten Stories number 5. If you're new here, Enhearten Stories is a series in which we interview Enhearten microgrant recipients. And today we're meeting with Sabrina Gonzalez, the Executive Director of the Civil Rights Institute of Southern California. So could you tell us a little bit about your organization?
I am just celebrating my 2-year anniversary as their first ever Executive Director, which I'm very proud and honored that they selected me to be. But this organization was actually co-founded by some Riverside legends, Lali Acharya and Rose Mays. They had this beautiful idea to develop a complex, multi-use space that highlighted our civil rights history of the region, made a dent in the housing and the need for housing in our region, and then found office space for fair housing. So they partnered up with each other as they co-founded this, and then they got some friends on board and connected with some bigger names to start the Civil Rights Institute. And then they collaborated with the Fair Housing Council of Riverside County, as well as Wakeland Housing Development Corporation, to ensure that this 92,000 square foot Mission Heritage Plaza came to life. I just feel very grateful that I was selected to be a part of it. And so that's how I found myself here.
Hey, awesome. How did the Enhearten grant help you and your organization reach your goals?
With Enhearten, we applied for the grant. Our current exhibition, San Bernardino Photography Now, I'm grateful that Thorns Have Roses. That exhibition, we wanted to have that piece as well because it's photographs, 23 different photographers. And so we're hopeful that we can jumpstart that first Sunday, but we didn't know where we were going to get the funds to do that. And so this Enhearten grant allows us to go back. So we're going to be able to have at least 2 of those first Sundays where we'll be able to pay artists to come in and do workshops that relate to the exhibition and invite community into the space. And so there's that first connection. It will also potentially help us supplement some materials and maybe one of the other panels that we're going to do about the camera being a weapon and understanding like the importance of civil justice and social justice and activism. And so we're very, very excited that this grant is going to allow us to invite community to engage with the exhibition and to continue to build and tell their stories. In this exhibit, we are uplifting San Bernardino. We're telling the story through their lens and their perspective. And one part that made this special is the exhibit is here in Riverside at our location, but we also partnered with the Garcia Center in San Bernardino for the exhibit to be in that space as well. And so this grant is allowing us to have an even bigger impact. It allows folks to say that we are embedded with community because we are getting a community grant. It shows connection, continuity, and it is furthering our reach We had 350 folks come into our opening night for this exhibition. We plan on having another 200 plus when we open it at the Garcia Center. And so it's just inviting folks to see what Enhearten is doing for the community, and also that we're connected and working to continue to extend those messages of kindness, curiosity, and knowing our regional history. So I think one of the biggest things the grant is going to do is going to further that we are trying to do programming to engage with the community. So it sets the tone to say that we can do this in the future. When we do our Homegrown Heroes exhibition, which is the next one after this that comes up in September, we will hopefully already have some folks that are used to coming in for programming. So it will help us build from that. We hope to apply again in the future so that we can continue for programming as our exhibitions change and shift. And I know there's multiple seasons for when you can apply, but seeing that continuity in funding, seeing folks coming in and being excited about it, we're hopeful that it will just continue to impact in a positive way as we move forward.
Dr. Cheryl Love and I have both had the opportunity of meeting Sabrina Gonzalez in person and touring the Civil Rights Institute. As Sabrina shared, it's located in Riverside, and I highly recommend it. It's a really, like the exhibit I got to see was just really inspiring, moving, and just really a powerful experience to see.
Most definitely. And one of the things that's also really great about this organization is they really are trying to bring community in and to really share the story of unseen leaders within the Riverside community through art and exhibitions. And so it's really a great organization. And they currently have an exhibition up. It's Unsung Heroes. And so they're highlighting heroes in the Inland Empire that have done really amazing work across a wide spectrum of sectors. And it's just an example of the things that they're doing to, as I like to say, give people their flowers while they can still enjoy them. And so, and she's an example too of the kind of folks that have participated in our micro grant aspect giving in Enhearten, and the wonderful things they've been able to do with the resources.
Yes. And we'll be sharing some much shorter segments where you'll get to hear the voices and stories of some of our other recent microgrant recipients. The next video we want to show you is a video about Enhearten healing, and you'll see one of our amazing board members, Richard, along with Cheryl, and along with one of our previous interns, Jade Charlton. And you'll hear Jade sharing a little bit about what Enhearten healing means to her and why that stood out to her, like when she was looking for an internship and then when she became part of Enhearten for her internship. So I'll go ahead and play the next video.
I came into Enhearten in August, and just from before, like reading everything about Enhearten, I already knew that this is something that I wanted to be a part of. For me, I think one of the most important branches of Enhearten is healing, just because a lot of people may have that potential and they may have that spark and they may have what they need to have, except they might have been shut down in the past. They might have went through something that's blocking them from being or going after what they want. But Enhearten offers that healing portion that really will help them and let them know you can do this. And that's really what made me really appreciate this organization.
Jade was our very first intern. She was a student at Cal State Fullerton at the time. She's now graduated. And it's just profound to me, like hearing her share about what Enhearten healing means to her, and just it was such a joy that she was able to be our first intern, and that she could be impacted in some ways also by Enhearten, as each of us who are involved in this work are impacted by what we end up getting to be part of.
Yeah,
So,
most definitely, most definitely. And the fact that that was one of the things that, because she had the opportunity to do an academic internship for Cal State Fullerton at any number of places, but the fact that she was drawn to our small but mighty nonprofit, especially due to the work that we do in the Enhearten Healing Branch, I think speaks volumes.
yes. So the next video we want to show you is a short video about Enhearten coaching, and you'll see one of our amazing board members, Dr. Carla Torrance, and she'll be sharing about what coaching is. She went through Enhearten coaching. I had the joy of being her coach, and then she went through a training program and became one of Enhearten's coaches. And so she'll be sharing a little bit about what this whole idea of coaching is. So enjoy the video.
Hi, my name is Dr. Carla Torrance, and I'm here to talk to you about coaching. The word coach, we use an acronym that stands for C, connect, to engage, to build a rapport. The O is outcome, to have a goal for the conversation. The A is awareness, to encourage discovery and insight. The C is to have a course of action steps to get to the goal. And the H is highlights, to be able to review. So when a person is being coached, a person is encouraged to think about their dreams, to go deep, and to hear themselves, to articulate, to say those things out loud, and to hear themselves and to be encouraged in what they want to do. And all I'm there for as a coach is to cheer them on. So for me, it's a good thing to have a coach in your life, someone that stands on the side and cheers and says, wait, this is what you wanted to do. This is what you told me you wanted to do. What are your action steps? And then to encourage them in those action steps. That's what coaching is, and it's a great thing.
That video makes me smile. It's been such a joy because some of the things that Carla like kind of put together when she was receiving coaching, like we're seeing those things happen now in her life. Like she's getting to do some of those things that she realized were really like important to her and things she cared deeply about and wanted to do. So that's been a tremendous joy.
Most definitely, because I know Carla, I've known her for years, and I know that the coaching process that she went through herself really helped her to get to some of the next steps that she wanted to get to professionally. The coaching really helped her to do that. And then in turn, she was able to take the joy that she went through herself and to impart it to others, because she's been able to coach other people. So Enhearten coaching is something that really has made a difference in a lot of people's lives, not only the person receiving the coaching, but the person giving the coaching as well.
Yes, it's really true. So we have one more set of videos that we want to show you. This will be 5 really short videos, one after another. This past summer, so actually one of our microgrant awardees had asked us a question in a microgrant interview, and her question was, like, is there a way for the microgrant recipients to meet one another and be able to network and learn from one another and like share ideas, successes, challenges, just to be able to share together? And we thought that was a great idea. And so this past summer, we held our first Zoom networking event for microgrant recipients, and we recorded it. And it was a remarkable experience. And in the next 5 videos, you'll see just 5 really short segments. You'll get to hear the voices and a little bit of the stories and the work of 5 different Enhearten microgrant recipients.
And what you also get to see is that we're being able to help folks from all parts of the world. And the work that they're doing is very diverse as well. And that's one of the things that I think really makes our organization very unique too, because we're giving people opportunities to make a difference in their community in a wide range of ways and all over the world.
So it's our joy to play these 5 short videos. I'll play them like one right.
I believe Dr. Switkes is experiencing a little technical difficulty because she has frozen. So I'm gonna see if we can get that corrected. So hold on just a sec. So it looks like we've lost her for just a second. So while she's trying to get back online, I will say this about some of our micro grant recipients. We have had folks that work with doulas, and they train the doulas to be able to help with the births of pregnant women. And so that was one of our most recent microgrant recipients. We also have had a group of young college students that work with immigrant K through 12 students, and they have received resources from Enhearten to be able to provide enrichment and support and guidance for immigrant students. We have had an organization in Pomona that works with the homeless and provided resources for a project that they wanted to get off the ground as it relates to working with homeless folks. We have helped a small village in Africa be able to have clean water for the students attending school. That's just a small snapshot. I was giving them a little bit of a taste, Dr. Switkes, because I know you were having a little bit of technical difficulty as you joined back in, and to be able to share some of the snippets from some of our most recent microgrant recipients that participated in our first ever event where microgrant recipients from all over the world could meet one another and learn from each other. And so anyway, back to you, Dr. Switkes.
Thank you so much. My apologies, everyone. I got kicked off of the internet, but I'm thankful to be back. So hopefully I can go ahead and play these videos and let you hear the amazing voices and stories of some of the microgrant recipients. So enjoy these videos.
Well, I'm Nikhil. I started Project Adam with Mona about 5 years ago now, and our nonprofit basically provides educational opportunities to migrant and immigrant communities in the in Southern California. And we also like to focus a lot on like cultural connection and community building specifically.
We are from Bridging the Gap worldwide, and we have worked in Ghana and in North Carolina, Winston-Salem specifically. And we are more into providing educational materials to students who do not have them. And we are also into empowerment for young women as well. And we provide scholarships for students whose parents cannot provide them with fees and all that.
What we're using our grant for is ending poverty for women and children in Bapingo, Kenya. So we started a few businesses, and we used our grant to get a sewing machine and a couple other things for our tailoring business that we started this year to empower women, not only emotionally and spiritually and all the educationally, but also financially.
So we primarily work in Nairobi, which is for those who don't know, it's a capital of Kenya. And inside Kenya in Nairobi is a slum called Kibera slum. And it's the second largest slum in the world. And that's mainly where our organization works. And we're very holistic in the fact that it's a high poverty area. So we focus on education, clean water, just basically a little bit of everything, because we kind of have to do that in a high poverty area. You can't feed a child and not put them in school.
My nonprofit is called Community Calling Inc. And what I basically do is career training for birth professionals. So labor doulas, postpartum doulas, lactation counselors, and childbirth educators. And I give women in the community scholarships to be able to do the training, to start their career doing this work. And then I use funding to be able to pay those doulas to go into the community and do the work for the people who need the services but cannot afford them themselves.
It's such a joy to me. Like, I had not met any of the microgrant recipients you heard from prior to, their application for a microgrant. And it's such a joy, as you can tell, these are incredible people with incredible passion for the work that they do with their nonprofits. And it's such a joy to have gotten to know them, but also to be a positive force in what they're doing.
And the joy is also being able to see that it doesn't take a whole lot of money for there to be impact. Oftentimes, people give the narrative of you need a whole bunch of resources to make movement, to make things happen. And all of our microgrant recipients to date are living proof that little can become much in terms of making a difference and getting things started in communities where resources oftentimes are minimal. And so that's one of the things that I think is encouraging to me, that you can make a difference and you can get things started in a community that's going to make a positive impact. And you can do that with a little bit of resources to get things going. So.
Yes, so this concludes pretty much the presentation part of our time here. We do want to have a little time to, chat with you through your questions. We have listed our website here. There are ways that people can be involved, and there are next steps that we are passionate about developing for Enhearten Unseen Leaders. Dr. Love, is there anything you want to say before we open it up to some questions?
The only thing I would say is that if you've heard anything this evening and you are interested in helping in any way with any of the work that we are doing, we welcome volunteers.
Yes.
Because it does take a village to not only raise a child, but also to be able to make a difference in the world. And so we are always looking for folks who are looking to make a positive impact within their community. And so we are welcoming any and all who would be interested in helping in any way that they can.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. I think I'll go ahead and stop the screen share if that sounds okay, Vanessa. And then we would love to have conversation with everyone through any questions.
Absolutely. If you have any questions, please do put it in the chat or the Q&A. We are monitoring both of them. In the meantime, as you're thinking of your questions, I do have questions for our speakers. So leaders have many qualities and characteristics. What are you looking for in a leader?
Do you want to go first?
Well, for me personally, I'm just looking for someone who has a heart for trying to make a difference in their community in some small way. Because again, where little becomes much is convert one of the models that we've taken from my church, my pastor at Allen Chapel in Colton, California. That's one of the things that he says all the time. Look, you can start off very small and it can grow into a big impact. And so we're just looking, I think, first and foremost for people who care about their communities and they're looking to make a difference, a positive difference, and not afraid to rolling up their sleeves and doing the work. So we come from a servant leader a mentality. It's about being of service to others. And so those are the kinds of things that I know we're looking for. And I know Dr. Switkes, you may want to add to that, but.
Well, just briefly, in our interview, actually in our reference checks that we do for our microgrant recipients before we make our decisions, we ask about qualities of integrity and humility and love. So we're passionate about coming alongside leaders who are good leaders who are really benefiting the people that they're serving.
That's great. A follow-up question to that, when folks, I guess, apply for this micro grant, is it like a long process? Like how does it work? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have an online application form. We try to make it not too incredibly long. We want to really hear people's hearts and, definitely the necessary details for us to understand their project and their organization and what they would use the funding for. After they submit the online form, twice a year we review the applications and we meet as a board and select some of the applicants to invite for a Zoom interview. We're actually in that stage right now for our current microgrant cycle. And so we'll have like 2 or 3 board members on each Zoom interview, about like a 45-minute interview. And then we also do a reference check just to hear about the person and their project and organization from someone else in their life outside of the organization. So yeah, we try to make it be a very meaningful process and not burdensome, but meaningful.
And in terms of a time frame, after the deadline for the 2 different cycles, we very quickly make decisions on who will make it to the interview process. So they're hearing pretty quickly, usually a week or two at the most after the deadline, whether or not they're going to be invited to the next stage of the process, which is the interview. And once the interviews take place, shortly thereafter, we're doing the reference check. We try to check at least one of the references that they provide. We ask usually for 2 to 3 references. We usually check at least one of them. And then after that process has happened, they're notified pretty quickly after that. So there's not a long, drawn out waiting process. Typically, it takes about a month from deadline date to the things that I've just described, for people to know one way or the other whether or not they're receiving a micro grant for the current cycle that we are in.
Great, thank you. When does the application open for those who are interested in applying?
It's open year round, but we review the applications like March 15th and September 15th. So like if someone were to apply now, we would hold their application and then review it shortly after March 15th.
Got it. Great. Our next question. So what steps do you recommend for mothers entering the real world to identify causes that they can support and get involved in?
That is such a wonderful question. I
Well,
think, yeah.
I was going to say, to start with, I wouldn't wait till you enter in the real world. I work with college students, and so one of the things that I tell college students all the time to do as part of that career development, that growth process, is to look for ways to volunteer as they're working on completing their college degree. And not just things that are related to their major, but other areas of interest. And that, I think, helps to translate to the kinds of things that you would be doing on the other side of graduating. For example, I've had students that have worked and volunteered through the basic needs program that we have here at UCR, and helping those who maybe are struggling with food insecurity or housing insecurity and that kind of thing. Nothing necessarily related to the major they're completing, but they just have found joy in being able to provide some support for their peers. And then that's translated into them going on and doing that kind of work on the other side of graduation. And some have even gone into working for nonprofits that provide that kind of support within the community, just because they had that opportunity to be able to provide that kind of help and support as they were completing their degree. And so that's the first thing I would say, as you can find ways to be able to volunteer in a wide array of places and spaces that can also help you too as you graduate and you're in the real world, to figure out causes that speak to you to support on the other side. So that would be what I would recommend. And I do every day in my role in the Career Center at UCI, make those recommendations. Yes.
Yeah, I know that Harvey Mudd has some amazing volunteer opportunities, through the college, and the city of Claremont has nonprofits that you could just give yourself like a new experience maybe of like volunteering with a local nonprofit, seeing what it does, what the work is like, seeing what touches your heart. The city of Pomona, nearby, also has a lot of nonprofits. So I would really encourage you, like Dr. Love said, while you are a student, to give yourself some experiences maybe outside of what you've experienced before, and then same thing after you graduate and you're working or in grad school. Same thing. It's such an amazingly like enriching and special part of your life to get involved volunteering in some way.
And I will say that I know Harvey Mudd has an amazing Career Center resource. Career Centers, like I know of the Career Center where I work at, we have information about a wide array of ways to volunteer on and off campus. And so your Career Center and Harvey Mudd could assist with that as well.
Great, thank you. So I know we're coming up on time, but I have one more question for you before we end our webinar today. How can we make more space for disability as part of DEI? What has been your experience working with emerging leaders with disabilities?
Well, first and foremost, I would tell you I do a lot of work around diversity, equity, and inclusion, not only on my campus, but through professional associations. First and foremost is understanding and teaching people that diversity, equity, and inclusion isn't just about race. People oftentimes use a very narrow lens when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion work. That's why I call it DEIBA, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and accessibility. So it's teaching people that diversity work is more than race, and really giving people the tools to be able to provide the kind of support that's necessary for all aspects of diversity. And so that's the first thing. And I do that every day, all day, 7 days a week, trying to get that message out. And really providing support and resources for those who are differently abled to be able to lead. There's wonderful organizations out there. We have a wonderful, amazing center here at UCR that supports differently abled folks. And so it's partnering with organizations that are providing support, providing resources for the differently able and other aspects of diversity, and making sure that you're doing your part to be a resource, not a hindrance, is what I would add to that.
Yeah, differently abled people tragically are overlooked so very often and have amazing giftings, of course, and passionate things that they care about, that they want to be involved with. And so it's tragic when somebody is overlooked. And so it's our heart and passion and joy to help be an encouragement and come alongside differently abled people as a part of Enhearten Unseen Leaders.
Great. Thank you so much for answering our questions. I want to thank our speakers for joining us today and for sharing your knowledge and insights with us. Thank you to our audience for your questions and for attending this event. We will follow up within the next week with the recorded video and any presentation material. Up next, we have Navigating the Waves, San Diego Housing Market and NAR Rules Impact on Buyers and Sellers with Karim Abdullah, class of 96, on Wednesday, November 20th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you are interested in being a Mud Talk speaker, please contact us at alumni@hmc.edu. All future events can be found on our website. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.